Most advice tells you to add more structure, more discipline, more habits. But psychology shows clarity isn't built, it's uncovered by removing what silently drains your mind. Today, you'll identify the 7 things running in your mental background and learn how to shut them down. Most people think clarity is something you build, that if they just add the right habit, the right routine, the right system, their life will finally feel under control. So they keep adding another app, another journal, another rule for how their morning should look, another promise that this will be the thing that fixes them. But their mind never gets quieter, it gets louder, because your brain is not a shelf, it's a processor. And processors don't get better by holding more, they get better by running less. What you're experiencing isn't a lack of discipline, it's cognitive overload. Your mind is running background programs you never chose, emotional negotiations, unresolved expectations, digital stimulation, identity pressure, performance anxiety. You don't need more habits. You need fewer invisible drains. We've been trained to believe more equals control, more structure, more productivity, more pressure. Because chaos feels dangerous, and when life feels uncertain, the nervous system searches for something to grab onto. So we add routines because they give the feeling of stability. We add pressure because it feels responsible. We add effort because it feels like power. But pressure isn't power, it's compensation. It's what the mind does when it doesn't trust itself to lead quietly. Most people don't add habits because they're disciplined. They add habits because they're anxious, trying to organize themselves out of discomfort, trying to build their way out of uncertainty. But the mind doesn't calm down. When you give it more to manage, it calms down. When you give it fewer threats to respond to, subtraction is not minimalism, it's authority. It's the moment you stop asking, "What else should I do?" and start asking, "What is silently running me?" This is why subtraction feels threatening. When you remove noise, you don't immediately feel peaceful. You feel exposed. Your habits, your busyness, your explanations, your urgency, they've become psychological armor. They tell you who you are. They keep you moving. So you don't have to sit with uncertainty. So when you subtract, your nervous system panics. Not because something is wrong, but because something is new. Before identity forms, there is space. Before clarity appears, there is quiet. That quiet is not weakness. It is unoccupied power. This is your subtraction audit. 7 programs quietly draining your authority. 1. The need to be understood. Social validation dependency. You don't just want to express yourself. You want confirmation that your experience is valid. So you explain, you clarify, you replay conversations in your head. You rewrite messages before sending them. That isn't communication. That's negotiation for safety. Somewhere in your past, being misunderstood felt dangerous. So now your nervous system believes, if I explain well enough, I'll be safe. But power isn't negotiated, it's assumed. When you subtract the need to be understood, your silence stops being defensive. It becomes declarative. 2. Guilt for outgrowing people. Identity dissonance. Growth separates you from your past, and separation creates guilt. You minimize progress. You stay available too long. You shrink excitement. Guilt whispers, don't go too far. Don't become unfamiliar. But evolution requires unfamiliarity. If everyone recognizes you, you are not growing. Guilt is the tax the past charges the future. Subtract it. 3. The habit of explaining yourself. Emotional leakage. You explain because silence once felt unsafe, because conflict once meant abandonment. But explanation is defense, not clarity. A simple no, without justification, is psychological sovereignty. When you stop explaining, you don't become cold, you become precise. 4. Uncontrolled digital input. Dopamine erosion. Your brain was not built for infinite stimulation. When scrolling becomes constant, Imagination fades. Patience collapses. Depth disappears. You don't lose productivity. You lose direction. Protect attention like oxygen. No oxygen, no thought. No thought, no future. 5. Conversations that go nowhere. Some people speak to fill space. Others speak to transmit meaning. When depth is missing, your nervous system feels unseen. Silence is not loneliness. It's dignity when connection lacks substance. 6. The search for closure. Cognitive dissonance. Closure is psychological fiction. The mind believes answers create peace, but strength comes from direction. Stop asking, why? Ask, what now? Closure is not found. It is released. 7. The urge to prove your worth. Conditional acceptance. Most exhaustion isn't physical. It's trying to earn permission to exist. When worth depends on output, rest feels illegal. Subtract performance from identity. You are not a resume. When these programs shut down, your mind feels empty, unsettled, restless, not because something is missing, but because something stopped controlling you. Your brain is addicted to predictability, not stimulation. Even stress is predictable. So silence feels dangerous because it removes the map. This is the pattern interrupted the moment your identity stops running on autopilot. That discomfort is not failure. It's authority returning. Cognitive space is not absence. It is potential. Before leadership, there is stillness. Before clarity, there is quiet. To put these concepts into practice today, follow this 3-step subtraction audit. 1. Social mute. Stop over-explaining to one person for 48 hours. Your nervous system will panic. That panic is old. You are teaching your body, I can be silent and still be safe. 2. Input wall. No screens for the first 60 minutes after waking. You're teaching your brain, I generate direction. I don't receive it. 3. No why rule. Choose one old pain. Stop asking why. Choose your direction instead. You don't need resolution to move forward. You need authorship. Why subtraction is sovereignty. Most people live reactively, responding to guilt, responding to pressure, responding to expectation. They don't lead their minds. They manage them. Addition culture trains obedience. Subtraction builds leadership. When you subtract, validation hunger, guilt, explanation, stimulation, shallow connection, closure obsession, performance identity. You become unowned. That's what sovereignty feels like at first. Quiet, unnegotiated, unmanaged, and then powerful. Subtraction is not about doing less. It is about deciding more. It is the act of reclaiming authorship over your own mind. Most people keep adding because they are afraid to stand alone. The intelligent subtract because they trust themselves to lead. And when you subtract what weakens you, what remains is not emptiness. What remains is command. If this felt uncomfortable, it means something shifted. Subscribe for brutal psychology truths most people never confront.